Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
J names are very big with me. My name's Judy.
Yes.
And your name's Jed.
My name is Jed.
Jed.
Come and listen to a story
Yes.
about me.
Come and listen to story. All right, so everyone, welcome to, it's a very special edition of Kill Me Now. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and I'm in Los Angeles, California. So we don't have Lauren here. So everyone cry. All Lauren and I do is fight. That's all we do.
But it's
We
really
fight.
about love.
It's about he's a pre-op tranny.
Are you
It's
sure?
about
Oh,
him
yeah.
not interrupting me. But he constantly interrupts me, and it's like I'm on a thing, and then boom. So we fight a little bit, and then I get, we get emails and stuff, but
In other
whatever.
words,
Anyway,
family.
it's just like every person in my life.
Yeah.
The problem with Lauren is that, like, I'm here in LA, and I'm trying to get studio space and do all this. So I was in contact with him yesterday, and this is constant. This is a kill me now moment, by
Yeah,
the way.
sure.
It's like I'm like, okay, so I can record, and I have Ed, and by the way, today's guest is the one and only, extremely funny and talented Ed Crasnick. Yay!
Thank you. Thanks,
So
people.
I'm trying to deal with you and getting,
Right.
getting the fucking studio here in LA.
Yeah.
And I get his wife, Chemda, who has a podcast.
Say no more.
Chemda
Achuleya.
it writes me on her phone. Lauren writes me on Chemda's phone that he lost his phone on the subway, but someone found it. It's like every week is another, oh my God, I'm really sorry, but I couldn't find this. Blah, blah, blah. It's like I can't, it's so fucking annoying.
You had me a chemda.
Yeah.
That is, I understand. So it's a lot of drama.
Well, it's
never easy.
It's constant, like, for me. Okay, so here's the thing. Ed, you're a stand-up. I mean, but you're a writer,
Yes, sir.
producer.
Yes,
You've had podcasts.
Yes.
You've done films.
Yes.
You've done TV shows.
Yes.
Um,
I make borscht.
you make borscht with the beets, boiled potato,
Mhm.
and the sauerkraut. And you have a child.
Yes, I do.
And a wife.
Yes,
and
sir.
when I deal with these people who have their only responsibility is themselves, and we work together,
Yeah.
is it that fucking hard? Like, I have 2 children. All right, right now one's in camp and one's back in New York. But I mean, Henry missed his dentist appointment. He's almost 20. I have to go, I have other people that I have to take care of. And I manage to keep my phone near me so that it doesn't fall out of my bag on a subway.
You're talking about Team Judy now. There's a thing called Team Judy, and it has all the people that you're responsible to. And I know exactly how you feel. There are a lot of people like this in show business who cannot hold on to simple things like a phone, a quarter, money, their nose, their skin.
No, but it's also that whole
Drama.
It's not my fault. It happened to me. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is a thing that I've been grappling, bing, 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 grappling with.
Good word.
It's just that there's no one takes responsibility for anything
No
anymore.
one takes responsibility.
It's
It happens
always
to
someone
you.
else's fucking fault.
Yes. That's right. And that is the cornerstone of the Trump administration. No, that's the core.
It is the cornerstone of
It's why these things are happening, because people don't, that no one comes out, no one thinks that they're connected to anything. No one thinks that they have responsibility for anything. When I say no one, I'm talking about me. No, when I say no one, I'm talking about a lot of people.
No, but that's exactly the way it is.
Now, Lauren, if Lauren is probably going to listen to this, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Lauren, you're a wonderful human being, but you have to hold on to your cell phone or
please.
admit that it's okay.
Right, and there's things when he fucks up where it's just, no, I didn't mean to do it, but it happened. And you have to, there's so many things I didn't mean to happen that fucked me up, but I had to take responsibility for them. Even if they happened to me.
Yes.
It's how you handle that.
You have a choice.
Right.
You have a choice.
Ed,
what do you need Lauren to do? Let's get it out in the open.
Oh, God, I can't even. It's too much. I just need Lauren to be organized. And it's not something look, I have no executive function, basically.
Okay.
He doesn't either.
Okay.
He's also all over the place doing a million things at once, which is also something you can't be great at one thing if you're doing 500 things.
That's true.
Okay. Anyway, can we not talk about him anymore?
No, we're not talking about him.
All right, Lauren, bye. Anyway.
Lauren, say hello to Chemda for me.
Yeah. You'd like Chemda.
I like Chemda already.
Chemda is the co-host of Keith and the Girl.
Yes.
Do you know Chemda?
Yes.
No, you don't.
No, I've heard the show. Yeah, I like it.
Oh, all right.
I like it. And I like Chemda, and I'm a big Chemda maniac. I'm a Chemda.
Chemda's hot.
Yeah.
Chemda's hot.
Nothing wrong with
Israeli.
Chemda.
She's really hot. Do you know? You've been to Israel?
I'm sorry. I don't know, and I don't know. I don't
Have
want
you been to Israel?
I have been. I have seen the Negev.
Did you do the...
No, I've never been. But I've raised a lot of money for Israel.
And you've never been? You have to go to Israel.
I was supposed to go on a program. Instead, it turned into a pogrom. Ladies and gentlemen,
Good night,
I
folks.
will see you
And
at the
that's
premiere.
it.
No, I want to go. I've always wanted to
Why
go.
can't you do the Avi Lieberman thing?
I was working on that, but I did it in a half-assed manner, so I got a free trip to Jordan. I got close.
That's...
A free... Jordan is what I said, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, folks.
And
Jordan.
I will see you at the premiere.
Now,
So anyway, but I've always wanted to go. I was a public speaker for the United Jewish Appeal for years.
you have to go.
I know. It's my birthright.
And bring your daughter.
And lose my phone on the
yes.
Negev. I bring
All right. So if you don't know Ed, I don't know. What do you think people would know? This Week in Comedy, you were a host of...
I was a host of a show. I have a show called The Self-Help Comedy Hour.
Yes,
it's on Dash
I've been on
Radio, and it's a thing.
I did your podcast
You
thing.
did, but
I wasn't
the
in.
new one
Yeah.
is it has. I have therapists with me, and we do psychodrama live.
Oh,
and
I
it's
wanna
pretty
do
amazing,
it.
and you're going to do it.
I'm doing it. I'll do it. You know I'm up for anything.
You're doing it. You're doing it. And I, The Sopranos. I've been on shows. The
Yeah,
Sopranos and
Sopranos.
Curb and Conan and all
Win
kinds
Ben
of crap.
Stein's money.
I won it. No, I wasn't allowed to speak to him, but I did.
Is that true?
Yeah, because he was a host and a contestant.
Right.
So Disney didn't recognize the 4th of July as a legal holiday at the time. This is absolutely true. And we weren't allowed to speak to him because it would have been, I'm sorry, that's my pacemaker going off. No, it isn't my pacemaker. It's my rabbi saying, why? All
right, shut the fuck up.
All right,
Go.
Here we go.
So, so what happened with Ben Stein?
Well, Ben Stein was one day, we were in a room, the writers, and he
Right.
was on stage, and we were not allowed to meet him or talk with him.
Wait, you wrote for the show Ben
Yes.
Stein's Money.
Yes.
And you were not allowed to meet
We're not
Ben
allowed
Stein.
because,
Why?
because he's a contestant on the show, and there would be some foul play. It would be like the $64,000 question. We'd all be in jail.
So did he hire who hired the writers?
No, the writers were hired by Buena Vista Television,
Right.
a.k.a. Disney.
Yeah.
And they really didn't recognize the 4th of July as a legal holiday. There was a big thing about it.
What the
when
fuck
we were
is
there.
that?
Well,
Did they recognize Rosh Hashanah?
They did, and they recognized Shavuot. I had off for Shavuos, and then during Sukkot, I worked all week, but I worked in a tent.
Are you kidding me? It was outside.
It was outside in a sukkah.
Shit.
I don't know if I ever told you about the fact that
Wait, what about Passover?
Well, what we did is
Were
we
you
had
traveling?
maror. No, I was wearing maror,
All right.
which is a cologne.
Okay.
Bitter behind the ears.
Good night, folks.
And I will see you at the premiere.
So, is that your new line? I'll see you at the premiere.
Yeah, I like that line.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
I can get behind it. Now,
the writer's room.
Yes. Anything about that? The writer's room we shot in 10 days. We shot 10 episodes in 10 days. It was it was one of the first real web series.
Right.
And we shot in a conference room, and it was about fictitious show hosted by Kevin Pollak, a late night show, and about the relationship his writers had with him. And then
God, I've never heard of Larry Sanders before.
I know. This was no, it was after Larry Sanders.
It was
But that show then begat, and I'll use a lot of biblical language, and then we're going to have our Hebrew names.
Okay.
It begat a show called After Lately with Chelsea Handler.
Right. I've never heard of that.
They copied that show.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think anything... Wait, I have to ask you one thing about Ben Stein before I ask you
Sure.
this. He's a Republican.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you like him?
I like parts of him. I like his arm and his leg.
Right.
No, I like parts of him. Let me see. You have to love a guy who knows everything about hip-hop, who's a Jew, who's over 65 years old. You have to like a guy who knows everything about Bruce Springsteen, knows everything about music. Very interesting guy to talk to, but crazy.
Right.
And when you go into his house, he has 4 couches
I thought
in the
you
living
weren't
room.
allowed to meet him.
After the show, after the series wrapped. Went into the house.
Oh, you finally met him?
I did. And he took me to the Polo Lounge.
No way.
Yeah.
What's his house like?
His house is like the West Wing. It looks exactly like the West Wing. It has couches that face each other and then an emblem in the middle of the floor, like some kind of rug that looks like
because he wrote for Reagan, right? Or Nixon.
His father wrote Nixon's resignation
Yes, that's
speech.
right.
His father was an economist.
Right.
And so on the wall are pictures of Nixon shaking hands with different people, including his father. Never a high five, never a fist bump.
Right.
Only Nixon didn't do that stuff.
Right.
It wasn't like Obama. Anyway, but Ben Stein, so it's like 4 different couches, and you got Nixon over your shoulder. And it's a big Beverly Hills house. But when he took me to the Polo Lounge, he had an ascot on. It was ascot night. And he had an ascot. Everybody had an ascot. Everybody was rich. He takes me to the Polo Lounge, and he says, "Now, Ed, I understand that you live in Marina Del Rey. My wife and I own a controlling interest in the Marina Del Rey Yacht Club. May I make a call for you?" And
He did not.
He did say that. "May I make a call for you?" And I'm like,
Meaning what?
Maybe I can get you in, or maybe I can get you a sandwich. I'm not sure
Like
which.
you want to go to the yacht club and spend $1,000 for lunch.
For a tuna salad sandwich. I think.
Would you have the tuna on? I'm going to give you choices.
Yeah.
Rye, toasted rye, whole wheat, toasted whole wheat, bagel.
Huh. I have to think about it for a second. I probably would have it on gluten-free chach bread because I can't have wheat now. But if this were 1975, I would have it on a bagel.
What's with the gluten-free shit? I can't with the gluten.
I'm sick.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I had blood tests. I really do have an intense wheat allergy is what I do. So I hope you're not wearing wheat.
Shit.
Ladies
Do you like
and gentlemen.
my shirt? It's made out of bread. All right, wait. So
will Best of Bread be
what
playing
happened
during this?
What happened with the? Did you ever go to the yacht club?
I never went to the yacht club. I worked with Ben again.
When?
And this was the most amazing show ever. It was called Ben's Law, and it was a brilliant show. It was a comedy court show with Ben
As the lawyer?
as the judge listening to morality cases.
Right.
With his bailiff was Craig Robinson.
Uh-huh.
And Craig Robinson would come out in rows, but he had a keyboard.
Right.
And so they would have these sidebars, which they would talk. They would talk like in one sidebar they're doing monologues from the hurricane.
Right.
And Ben gets to do all the good monologues, and they're arguing.
Right.
That's a sidebar. And then the other one, Ben is teaching Craig the foxtrot. So it was very strange, but it was very funny. Jimmy Pardo was a man on the street.
I like Jimmy Pardo.
Yeah, he's very funny. Very funny.
Yes,
guy.
very funny.
I love
I remember working with him years and years and years ago.
I know.
Because I've been around forever and ever. So, now going back to what I was going to say about, the writer's room.
Yes.
You're saying that Larry Sanders had already happened. But is there anything that is truly original anymore? I mean, I think TV's getting original.
I think Netflix is getting original, but it's too original. Because what's happening now on Netflix is if you look, I need a Netflix class. I need a Netflix steward to teach me what's in there. Because you go into Netflix now, and there are 800 shows, and they all have very idiosyncratic names for titles. It's all, "Hi, my name is Herb, and I have a pair of pants that used to be a piano."
Right.
That's the title.
I'll see you at the premiere.
And I will see you at the premiere.
Oh, okay.
That's a title of a show.
Right.
And there are 800 of those shows.
Right.
Lady Dynamite. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
And you know Maria.
I love Maria.
How do you handle a problem like Maria? She's fantastic.
She is unbelievable.
She can do anything. Now, that show is kind of original.
That is a very original show. I've only seen a couple episodes, so I cannot make any, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I have to say, and Patton is amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
They're all amazing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of original. I thought
that would be an original show,
I thought the United States of Terror was relatively original. It wasn't in that it was,
right.
But the fact that it was a multiple personality mother, I thought was interesting.
What? Who are you?
Yeah.
So
that's how I had it home, and I didn't realize it was a disorder.
Now you grew up in the Boston area.
I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, in Boston, in Dorchester,
Dorchester,
right?
Dorchester.
How are you? Oh, God love you, Francis. Aren't you nice?
Dorchester.
Oh, you're marvelous. I'd say, Ma, how was the food? You went to the postal dinner with Dad. My father used to work in the post office. She said, well, the band was wonderful. The food you could shove right up your ass. Everything would find its way in the ass.
Inside the ass. She can shove it up her ass.
Yeah,
and I'll see you at the premiere.
You know what the problem is, Ed? They all want a piece of me. See? Everybody's up my ass, and I got a head like a tomato.
Now, siblings.
Yes. I had a sister who passed away about a year ago.
No.
Thanks for bringing it up. No.
How old?
She was 62.
What happened?
Had a cardiac arrest in the middle of the night.
That's the best way to go.
Well, it is a good way to go, but it was not a planned way to go, and I didn't really know what was going on. And I got a call from the Boston Police Department at like 8 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking first. My thoughts go here. What did I haven't been in Boston in 7 years.
Right.
What could I have done?
Parking ticket.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
Yes.
I didn't think Rochelle, and so he told me, and I started losing my mind.
So wait, so she's older than you, obviously.
She's 7 years older.
And married? No.
Not married. The best actress I've ever seen in my life. Great stage actress.
Did she do?
Yeah, she was very good.
Rochelle Crasnick?
Rochelle Crasnick could read a piece of paper and make you cry.
And never married, huh?
Never married.
But ever in love?
Yeah, a long time ago. She had a very, very difficult life, very troubled life. She had one of those lives where she was actually on the Oprah-style show called People Are Talking.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
With my mother, talking about her life. She had a very hard life. She was anorexic, and she was burned in a fire, and she had all kinds
my
of
God,
things
I
going
can't.
on. Yeah, you can.
Where's the fire?
Exactly. The fire. She was anorexic, and when you're cold,
right?
And so it was the dead of winter, and she was in a rooming house in Boston, and she was wearing a robe that was flammable, and the spark caught the robe, and it went up in flames.
Was she disfigured?
Yes, but fortunately not on her face.
Oh, that's good.
It was just her body, but it was very difficult for her.
Well, because she already had body issues, and now...
Yeah, she almost died.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Rochelle.
Rest in peace, Rochelle. We love you, and Rochelle was very funny, and she would love you.
Rochelle, say hello to my mother. Okay, and any other siblings?
No other siblings.
And parents are dead.
Parents are dead. Everyone's dead. It's like 3 days of the Condor.
Right. I know. I feel like that.
Everyone is dead, and they're all in the cemetery. Now, how do you deal with that?
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
I feel lucky I have kids.
Yes. You've made a family.
I've made a family. Gay people have always had to make their own families of my generation. Now it's like, Mom, I'm gay. And they're like, okay, can you pick up laundry detergent?
Yeah.
But before it was, Mom, I'm gay. No! Like that was...
It went from no to can you pick up laundry detergent? Right.
So, and now we also have to deal with the gender issues. But, that's why anyone our age who is against equality, you know what they should do? Shove it up their ass, as your mother would said.
Go right up your ass.
Go right up your ass.
Yeah.
Because how dare you?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so...
Equality.
Your father was a social worker, though.
My father was a social worker in the Department of Social Work in Boston. He helped families for 40 years. But here's my father. My father worked 2 jobs for about 50 years.
He worked at the post office at night.
At night. So he was the winner of the Willie Loman Lifetime Achievement Award.
Right.
So he worked his ass. He didn't have an ass. He worked his ass off. My father,
Did he shove it up his anything? If he had no ass,
I think he was.
How could he shove anything up there?
I think he made the motion and then hoped.
Right.
But at any rate, my father, they tried to force him out at age 62.
Mm-hmm. That's what they used to do.
Of the welfare department.
Right.
And what he said is, I'm not leaving until I'm ready. And what they said is, fine, we're going to turn your office into a smoking lounge. And they did. And he stayed for 2 extra years in spite of them. So that's the kind of guy my father was.
Wait. So he kept his office, but people were smoking in there.
And that was through the state of Massachusetts. My father was an amazing guy.
Okay. Did he die of lung cancer?
He didn't.
What did he die of?
He died of heart failure, but not then, like 24 years later.
I want to fucking kill them for doing that
I
to
know.
him.
My father was a tough guy. He never gave up. He was very
really
tough. Yeah.
But did he stick up for himself?
Oh, always.
All right, good.
Always.
What about
he would have quit.
Right.
But he said, no, I'm going to stay extra time. Because,
so that I can get my dinero.
Yeah.
And you can shove your fucking cigarettes.
Right up your ass.
Right up your ass.
Yeah.
Now, what did your mother do?
My mother was the funniest person, and everybody thinks that about their mom, but my mom really was funny. And
okay, you have to admit my
demand.
mother.
Your mother is very funny.
She's dead.
No, she's still very funny.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
My mother is still very funny, but my mother could do, like I would have her on radio sometimes, and I would say, it's time for Shirley Crasnick's illness update. My mother is sitting at a death and dismemberment update news desk. What's going on? Now, this is off the top of her head.
Right.
She'd say, oh, it's not good. I'd say, really? What happened? Well, you remember Esther Nash. Yeah, what happened? Is she okay? Well, she, poor thing, had a stroke. I'd say, well, you going to go visit her in the hospital? She said, why bother? She won't know me. How's she going to know me? Why bother?
She can shove it up her ass.
Yes. The food you could shove right up your ass. But anyway, she was, you know.
I used to call my mother on the phone when in Provincetown in the summertime. I always work there doing stand-up, and I work on new material. And I used to always call her at the end of the set, and I was just there. You know, I've been working there all summer, and then I had to come here to shoot something, myself in the head, and so I was at, after one of the shows, one of the audience members was like, "Oh my God, I really miss you calling your mother." I mean, she was fucking hilarious.
She was very funny.
Yeah,
and more. Right, your connection with your mom is a very strong connection.
Oh my God,
your mom knows you better than anybody.
The thing is that people don't realize. Like, my father died, and today is the day my father died. The day we're recording this. So
wow,
it's for this will air tomorrow, but yeah, August 1st, my father died in 1990.
Wow,
and it's like you still remember. You still remember every fucking detail,
of course,
and. Everyone always thought, oh, when her mother dies, she's going to be a mental case. But I feel I had nothing left to. I mean, we'd said it all. Her life. She was going to be 93.
Yeah.
Gesund. I miss her. I go to call her all the time. I talk to her. I mean, do you talk to your parents?
Yes. I don't talk to them. I used to talk to my mother out loud.
Yeah, I do.
And then I used to do her talking back to me.
Right.
I do it a little bit for my daughter, and I tell her a lot of stories.
Right.
And she has a real connection with her, even though she never met her.
She never met her?
No.
Did you name your daughter after her?
Yes, I did.
What's your
daughter's
daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Shayna. My mother's name was Shirley.
And when did your father died first?
Father died. My father died second.
What?
My mother died of cancer.
When?
1999.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then?
And then my father died 2007, I want to say.
And then your sister 2015.
Yes.
Good night, everybody. This is a comedy podcast, and everyone is dead. Shove it up your ass.
Death takes a holiday. No, it does not. Yes, shove it up. It's the shove it up your ass week out here in Hollywood.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I'll see you
at the premiere.
So you went to Syracuse University.
I did. I went with your cousin Glenn. We were there at the same time.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, but he was in a different place.
He's older than me, my cousin Glenn.
Yeah.
So my cousin Glenn Schwartz, for all the listeners.
Yeah, Glenn is tremendous.
Is my mother's cousin's son. So my mother's cousin, Leonard, is Glenn's father. Now, Glenn is a publicist of stand-ups.
Yes.
And we also had this other cousin, Marty Comer. Who, do you ever heard of him?
No.
So he started with like Irvin Arthur and all these guys like in the 50s. And I remember Glenn and I always thought Glenn didn't want to work with me because, we were cousins, but he did. So we actually work together now. But Marty Comer was like the only person in show business in our family because everyone else was like doctorate, get education, teachers, lawyers, whatever. And so it was like 1984 maybe. I had just moved to New York, just graduated college, and I had done stand-up, and my mother's like, go meet with cousin Marty. So I'm there, and he's like, he's sitting at his desk and everything, and he's like, yeah, I got Barry Manilow. And I was like, oh, my God, Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow.
And I was like, can I get 2 tickets or something? And he's like, sure. Yeah, it'd be 100. And I'm like, I have no money. I just graduated college.
It'll be $1,000.
So Marty is our cousin who never helped anyone. Anyway, so
he's a cousin, yeah. Glenn and I are old friends.
Yes, yeah. Glenn loves you.
Well, Glenn.
So you went to Syracuse with Glenn.
Went to Syracuse. He was at Sadler. I was at Flint, and he was in a different group. I never met him until I was out here, and a friend of mine ended up marrying him. So that was
the first one or the second
one?
Second one.
Yeah. So
Eve.
Yes. The great Eve. Eve is wonderful.
Eve is great.
She's wonderful.
Except here's the thing with Eve. This is another kill me now thing. Like I'll call Glenn because I have to tell him something about something we discussed. Eve will answer. It was like when my father would call. When my father would answer the phone and I just want to talk to my mother.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that?
Yes.
And you're like, hey, and then after he dies you feel guilty.
Yes.
And he'd be like, hello, and I'd be like, hi, how are you? I'm like, good.
I want to get them off.
So that's the way she is sometimes. It's like, hey, Judy. Hi. Like, I don't want to be like, I can't talk to you. I have no time.
Right.
And then the short answers are not, like, you don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, is there anything I can help you? I'm like, no! You can't help me! Because then I have to re-explain the whole fucking thing. Okay.
I think it's a very good information when they have the trial, and they're probably going to question you separately at the grand jury.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you
at the premiere.
Anyway,
yes. So anyway, now. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
So, you go to Syracuse, and what did you study?
I studied visual and performing arts and child and family studies, a dual major.
Because of your father. Did your mother have a degree?
My mother did not have a degree.
She graduated high school?
She did.
In Boston?
Yes, and she had a real estate job for one day.
Okay, and that worked out really well.
And that was it. And then a
she
medical secretary for one
yes.
day.
And then she shoved that up her ass.
She shoved everything up her ass.
And so,
there was a lot going on.
Yeah, so
in the back.
Did she have a big ass?
No.
Oh, okay.
In fact, she would say, you know what my problem is? I got it all up front. I really got no ass.
Now, your father had a degree as he was a social worker.
My father was a social worker. My father went over during World War II.
And he brought weights with him.
You heard that.
He was an exercise fanatic.
He was an exercise nut. He was happy. He used to show me books of bodybuilders because he was a bodybuilder when he was young. He used to show me books of bodybuilders, and he'd say, this is the immortal Eugene Sandow. And
well, they were all boxers. You know, the whole boxing, people don't realize, the whole boxing field, Jews.
Yes, there were a lot of very strong Jews, and they would pull a boat to Catalina with their neck.
Right. What about Jack LaLanne? He was not Jewish.
That's what he wasn't Jewish, but he was running from his past.
Right.
I feel.
Well, I know. All right, look, I've been an over-exerciser, right? But this is before I was on meds. So, like, all through I've done, like, all in my 30s, late 20s, I've missed gigs because I was like, I have to run this morning. I know there's a storm coming. I was in like New Hampshire. I had to go to. It was a gig in Boston or something.
Wow.
And they were like, if you don't leave now, and I was like, but I have to run 5 miles. I have to run 5. You know, it's like mental. So I got caught in the storm and ended up spending the weekend at my cousin's in New Hampshire. But
did he have Barry Manilow tickets?
Hey, good night, folks.
Now wait a minute.
Wait. So I used to, and I ran the marathon, and now I have a replaced knee. I have a total knee. The other one has to be replaced. But oh shit.
Oh, somebody.
I got it, but I have it on off, and I don't know why it keeps going.
Something happened. There's a call from
my friend Gary.
Gary.
He's a pain in my ass. All right, I love you, Gary. But oh god, and then wait, I'm trying to.
She's trying to close.
I'm
her
trying to
phone
close
right now.
the ringer, and it's not working.
You can't turn the
Yeah,
ringer off.
goddamn son. This is my mother. My goddamn son of a bitch. These are here are some what would we call sayings
Sayings
of
that
my
the parents have.
bitch on wheels,
Bitch on wheels.
up Schitt's Creek,
Love it.
Shtick Drek.
Love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Between me, you, and the wall was a big one. You can put a broom up your ass and sweep as you go along.
Right.
Was big.
Oh, my father. You need the patience of a saint.
Oh,
That was a good one.
Wow. Your father was different than your mom. Your
Yes.
father was a quieter
Yes.
person.
And then the other thing he used to say, questions, because I'd be like, you know, he's be like annoyed when you asked a lot of questions.
Too
all
many
right.
questions.
So your father, your mother's funny, but your father's has a heart and soul.
My father,
like my father. My father was in World War II.
Funny. Oh, really?
Yes, my father was dryly funny too. Yes, and my father was in the war as well.
Did he describe any of his experiences
No.
or talk to you about that at all?
None, zero.
No.
No.
Like you didn't take your father to see Saving Private Ryan, for example, which I did.
What year was that?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, he's been dead for 26 years.
Now, that's difficult for a person your age at the time.
Right. So next year, I will have known him. You know, he's dead and alive at the same amount of time of my life.
Wow. That's amazing.
And then after that, I've had less time with him. You know.
What do you remember of the time that you did have? What stands
we
out
used to
for you?
So for even though it's my podcast, he was. Everyone said he was he was a gentleman. He never said, "You can't do this because you're a woman." You know what I mean? He loved gardening. We had a we grew all our own vegetables. And raspberry bushes. I used to pick raspberry. We did a lot. He loved the lawn. He used to yell at the sprinkler. He loved opera. He loved the theater. He was like a Renaissance guy.
Wow.
He never walked around without a shirt on. Like he always,
Gentleman.
yeah.
And what was his relationship like with you? Like what
I was definitely the favorite.
Okay.
But he worked all the time. He used to be like, Judith, you want to go to Rickles? Because we'd get shit for the lawn.
I thought you meant go to Don Rickles.
Hey, good night, folks.
No, I did. I really didn't understand.
Yeah. So Rickles helps you do it better. Do it better with Rickles. Yeah.
A new sponsor.
So he was just not like. First of all, he was almost 48 when I was born. So he was not like my parents were not like the other parents. My mother grew up in Manhattan and was almost 41 when I was born. So I had older parents. And, I look back now, I realize, oh, my God. But now I look at people like, how old's your daughter?
Right. My daughter's 11.
Right. So it's like now that's the normal. But when I was a kid, I didn't know they were older. I mean, my grandmother was born in 1896. And I remember that at her 75th birthday, she said, "Oh, Judith, it's a joke. I'm really 57." So I was like, "Oh, good, thank God." And then when my father supposedly turned 50, the whole day I was annoying him, going, "You're half a century old. You're half a century old." And meanwhile, he was turning 60. So everyone was lying all over the place. And then one day I'm at my grandmother's house, and I see this prescription thing she filled out, and it said date of birth. And it had year, and it was 96. And this is like 1978. And I'm like, 96? And then I was like, oh, my God, I was like, my grandmother was born in, my grandparents were born in the age. There were so many fucking secrets. No one said anything. Oh, Judith, shut up.
Now, they lied because they were afraid of alarming you, that they were
I don't know.
older?
At one point, my brother said to me when we were kids, because I did not fit in. I am definitely the identified patient in my family. I was. But the thing was, my father got a kick out of me. Everyone else I annoyed. But, my mother was always, I've said this a million times, you're so hyper, Judith, you're so hyper. But
I love parents who are telling you not to do something that they're doing.
Right. You're so goddamn hyper. So, but my father, now I forgot my train of thought because went on to my mother. Wait, what was I fucking talking about? This is my fucking brain.
Your father.
Oh, right. So what?
Old age.
Right.
Lying.
Right. So my brother at one point said to me when I was, I don't know, maybe adolescence, early teens. You know what? Because he never talked to me. He didn't talk to me for years because he couldn't stand me. But he was like, Judith, you need to understand that our parents are old. They're not going to be around very long, and you need to stop aggravating them. This is how he talks.
Fantastic.
It was basically that. And I was like, so I've been waiting. The fear of them dying has been on my mind since I'm a kid. Wow. And it was just, and like death. It's just like.
So that's an abandonment thing. That's like, when are they gonna leave
me? And whatever. So I was, my father, it was a shock because he was swimming. He had a heart attack. But they all exercised. We were a big exercise family. We played tennis. We swam. I hated ice skating. They used to make me go ice skating. I'm like, I fucking hate it. Everyone had ice skates downstairs in the basement. I'm like, I fucking hate it. I hate being cold. I hate that my fucking foot is crushed in this thing. I hate that I'm 6'9" in these fucking things and I'm going to fall. And I fucking hate it. All right. So.
Now, is that how you express yourself when you were a kid in the family?
I would be like my brother wouldn't let me in his room. My sister couldn't stand me. And I would go, what is wrong with, it'd be like, is there something wrong here? And they'd be like, shut up. They would just ignore me.
They want to keep it down. The identified patient makes noise in the house.
Right. So now we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Besides being stand-ups, I started seeing a therapist at 18 years old, and you started seeing a therapist very young.
When I was born, yes. When I was born, the doctor who delivered me was a therapist. And he would
I'll
slap
see
me.
you at the premiere.
No, I once, what happened to me is that my mother had a bad accident when I was in 9th grade.
What kind?
She tripped and fell, and she broke both her wrists. And she was incapacitated for about a year.
Okay.
And I insisted that no one else touch her. I insisted to be the only one who took care of her.
Right.
And I turned into like a neat
Florence.
freak. I did. I turned into a neat freak. I cooked for the family and I cleaned up. They hired somebody to come be with her. We made the woman sandwiches. That's basically what happened with the nurse who came.
Yeah, but when you were at school.
I didn't go to school. I skipped a lot of school.
How old were you? 9?
13.
Oh, 13.
Yeah. Perfect age, by the way, to
that's a good age
have
for
a transition.
Right, because nothing's going on.
Right. So it was.
So 8th grade.
Tough. So 8th grade. So what happened is I was a very good student, and then because of the time that I missed, I came into class one day, and I remember I came into chemistry class, and my desk was gone because I had been out of school so long.
Like how long?
A few months.
Wait, and you weren't learning, and neither of your parents said, Ed, go to school?
No, they tried to get me to go to school, but I wouldn't go. And at some point, they called me school phobic. I used to go to movies instead of school. I would go downtown and time it.
That's what Gilbert did, too.
Yeah, we go to movies. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to comfort yourself. You're trying to take care of yourself. You think you're a bad person, and that goes on for years. And then you learn the feelings.
So the first time you went to the therapist,
the first time it was through a program in school, and they would evaluate you if you started getting bad grades.
Right. So you started getting bad grades.
Started getting bad grades. I was a very good student, and then all of a sudden, shit. And so they sent me to a psychologist. And I looked at the psychologist. Her name was Dr. Elizabeth Caldwell. And if she's still alive and she's listening to this, I want you to know, I know that I owe you a check. No.
Good night, ladies. Yeah.
No, so I looked at her at the age of like 12 or 13, and I said to her, will I ever be happy? And then I said, how long is that going to take? But I was serious.
Right.
And she said a long time. She said something like, I remember it as her saying, it takes time. Maybe I interpreted it as a long time.
Why'd they send you a non-Jewish therapist?
Well, that's the first thing. Because, look, nobody speaks that language except the Jews. So if you go in, it's like talking to Mary Tyler Moore from Ordinary People.
Right.
Calvin, wear the blue shoes and the other suit. Calvin.
Right.
But anyway, so that was my first therapist. And then I went on to see all kinds of therapists and every type of therapist, even
Me too.
For a psychiatric institute. Hello. So anyway, did you have a good one? Did you have any?
This is what happened.
Yeah.
I said to him, I knew I was gay.
Okay.
And there was no way I could tell anyone. And then I said, I'd like to see. And my parents were not anti-therapy or anything. So, of course, my mother sends me to the Jewish Family Services in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
I know it well.
So I go to the Jewish Family Service, and I think I remember somewhat the therapist. And I remember the whole time I'm going week after week. And then the day I go in and I say, I said, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her that I'm, So I walk in and I said, well, I have something I really think I want to tell you. And she goes, and I have something I want to tell you. I said, okay. She's like, you go first. And I said, I was with a girl. And I might be gay. I don't know what, whatever. And she's like, that's okay, whatever. And then I said, and what? And she said, I'm moving to Florida. And this is our last session.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this is our last session. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Kill me now.
Kill me the fuck now. So you go. When did you start? So you're in Syracuse, which is an excellent school.
It's
did
a
you
good
enjoy
school.
your college years?
I did enjoy it. For me, college was about separating from my family emotionally and getting
And
away
was
from home.
Rochelle okay at this point? No fire yet.
That was when it happened while I was away at school.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So you're at college. You're
Yeah.
finally separated from everyone in
Yes.
the Michigas.
Yes.
And what year does the
It
fire?
happens around then. It was
Around-
76.
So around freshman year, sophomore year?
freshman year, yeah. And my parents were at the hospital every day.
I'm still a little confused about the wrist thing. Like that.
How my mother broke her wrist?
No, that they let you stay home.
Well, you got to understand something. The thing about my family is that everybody was sort of enmeshed, which you can understand. And I really, in some ways, was I played the role of a parent in my family,
of course,
like a lot of people, and so it was tough. And my mother really was in a place where she couldn't really do much,
right?
And I really was scared for her, and I was scared for myself, of course, and I wanted to take care of her.
I'm scared for you.
Well, I'm scared for myself. I wake up in the morning and I'm like,
you want to
no,
shove it up. I used to be like that.
Yeah. No, actually, I don't. It's funny because life is much better now and things are going well. So
there you go.
I'm happy.
So my mother had a similar accident, but this is the difference between our family. I come home one day from school, and we had this big black Barca Lounger, this chair, and I come home from school, and my mother's sitting in the chair, and her entire rib cage is completely wrapped, and she's sitting there, and I'm like, what? This happens at school while I'm in school. And I said, what happened? She got on my father's desk chair and was cleaning something on the ceiling or a light bulb or something and fell and broke 4 ribs.
Oh.
Doesn't tell anyone. Like, no one tells anyone.
It's a secret.
It's like, and then that's it. It's like, what happened? I got hit by a car. I swear to God, I got hit by a car. I was going to driver's ed. It was the summertime. I get hit by a car. They shave my head. I get 15 stitches in my head. I have fracture my elbow. I'm wearing it. Literally, I look like it looked like a cartoon. I had my head shaved and all wrapped. I had my arm in a sling and I had a neck brace. I'm sitting on the couch and my brother comes in and says, what happened? And I said, I got hit by a car. And then he goes, oh, and goes upstairs.
Happy New Year.
And then my sister walks in, looks at me and goes upstairs.
No.
I said, Jane, why you didn't? She goes, I knew I'd find out. I mean, like mental.
I knew I'd find out.
No!
What, in the family secrets bulletin?
Yeah,
In the newspaper?
Because we always ate dinner together, where I also was like, what is wrong with everyone? So
That's amazing. Now, I had a friend, this is amazing. Her father was in the CIA, and he used to go away for long periods of time. No one would say anything.
Right.
It's not a Jewish family.
Right.
Came home one day, had a different face. No one says a word.
No way. You're lying.
Had a different face.
Like what kind of face?
Just a completely changed face.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. Hey, and then they go, the brother and sister.
And they're just like, hey, Dad.
No, no, not to Dad. They go in their room to say goodnight, and the brother goes over to the sister, and he says, Dad has a different face, doesn't he? She's like, yeah, I think so.
You're fucking lying.
I'm not lying. So there are people who keep...
I will see you at...
the premiere.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the secret thing is amazing. And you know this is very obvious, but it's the things that you think can kill you and you think you're going to hold them back because they will kill you if you say them.
Right.
Those are all the things, of course, that free you and
Right.
that keep you, that make you live.
Right.
So if you think you're bad for saying things, which it doesn't sound like you thought that about yourself. You didn't have this thing where you beat yourself up for your feelings.
Are you fucking kidding
did
me?
you? No,
I was gay. Yes,
no,
I
no,
was.
No, but I'm saying you
Yes, I
spoke
was.
out.
Well, no, I was like, I did not know that siblings like talk to each other until I got in the marching band, and Wendy Conklin and Michael Conklin, they were a year apart and they were like best friends, and they would hang out on the bus on band trips. And I was like, so wait a minute, you guys are brother and sister and you talk to each other? Like that's why I was addicted to like the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family. Like the communication was none, zero.
Yeah. But you would say, you would speak out and you'd say, what's wrong with you people?
Right. And they would be like, you don't, But, I did, and then I didn't. I mean, still in my head, I was thinking, oh, there's definitely something wrong. I mean, plus I was gay.
Yeah.
God damn it.
This is Hennessy, and that was part 1 of Ed Crasnick's episode of Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I hope you've enjoyed episode 60 with Ed as much as I have. Please rate us on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. If you've subscribed to us on iTunes before, but that's not how you listen to us, go back and make sure you're still subscribed to our show. It really makes a difference in the dumb iTunes podcast weird system they have going on. Thank you so much again for listening to this episode. I will go work on my organizational skills, and you can follow Ed Crasnick at Ed Crasnick, EDCRASNICK, and visit him at edcrasnick.com. Also follow Judy Gold at JEWDY Gold. Thanks again for listening to Kill Me Now. So long.
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.